We're always told that doing good for the planet is supposed to make us feel good too. But what if it's, well, a little more complicated than that? Today, we're asking a question that might just hit close to home. Does trying to save the world actually make you happy? Or can being green sometimes make you feel a little bit blue?
I mean, we hear it constantly, right? Do good, feel good. It seems totally logical that adopting a sustainable lifestyle would give our well-being a nice little boost. But is it really that straightforward? Or is there a way more complex story hiding just beneath the surface?
Okay, so let's get into it. The reason this is such a fascinating puzzle is that the research is basically all over the place. On one side, you've got a ton of studies drawing a pretty clear line from eco-friendly behavior to a greater sense of happiness. But then, on the other hand, you hear all about eco-anxiety, stress, and even getting into arguments with friends and family over your choices. It's a real head-scratcher. So, to try and untangle this knot, a team of researchers in Madrid decided to dig in. Their 2020 study started with a really smart idea. Maybe we've been looking at both sustainability and happiness in a way that's just, well, way too simple. Their first big insight was that sustainable consumption isn't just one single thing. Nope, it's actually a collection of very different actions, and they broke it down into three main categories. First up, you've got purchasing. This is the classic voting with your wallet, choosing to buy that fair trade coffee or deciding to boycott a fast fashion brand. Then, number two, there's simplifying. This is all about consciously cutting back on your impact. Things like fixing your old phone instead of getting a new one, or maybe biking to work. And third, we have activism. These are the public-facing actions like volunteering for a local cleanup, signing petitions, or joining a protest. And here's where it gets really interesting. They applied that same kind of detailed thinking to the idea of happiness. They argued that genuine well-being is so much more than just, being in a good mood for a little while. So they used this really solid psychological model that defines a flourishing life through these 6 key ingredients. It includes things you'd probably expect, like having a purpose in life and good relationships, but it also has less obvious ones, like feeling a sense of personal growth and autonomy. Let's just zoom in for a second on environmental mastery, because this one's a really crucial piece of the puzzle. This isn't about mastering the actual environment. It's about feeling competent and in control of your own life and the world right around you. It's that core feeling of, yeah, I got this. I can handle it. Okay, so the stage is set. We have 3 different ways to be green and 6 specific ways to measure well-being. And when the researchers finally connected all the dots, well, the picture that emerged was definitely not what most people would have guessed. If you just kind of mash everything together, all the green behaviors on one side and overall well-being on the other, you get a pretty simple answer. Yeah, there's a small positive connection. End of story, right? And here you can see that simple top-level finding. Sustainable consumption seems to lead to psychological well-being. It's neat, it's easy to understand, and it's also completely misleading. Because the real magic, the real story, happens when you stop looking at the whole forest and you start looking at the individual trees. So what did the researchers find when they really broke it all down? Now this is the money shot. All of a sudden, that one simple arrow just explodes into this complex web of connections. Some of them are positive, but some are surprisingly negative. This is where we find the real answer. It turns out the type of green action you take matters a lot. Okay, so let's break this down, because this is the crucial part. Sustainable purchasing, it gave a nice little boost to self-acceptance. Makes you feel good about yourself, probably because your actions are lining up with your values. Now, simplifying your life, that was the clear winner for happiness. It was strongly linked to both personal growth and that super important feeling of control, that environmental mastery. And it makes sense, right? When you choose to fix something or ride your bike, you're taking direct, tangible control of your life. And that feels amazing. But here's the real stunner. Activism was actually negatively linked to well-being. It was tied to lower personal growth, damaged relationships, and a lower sense of control. Probably because it means you're confronting these massive, frustrating systems, facing pushback and dealing with all that social friction. I mean, the researchers themselves couldn't have put it more clearly. The path to personal happiness through sustainability isn't necessarily paved with protests and boycotts. According to their findings, it's found in that quiet, personal decision to just simplify. So, where does that leave all of us? What does this actually mean for you and me? How can we act in a way that's good for the planet without totally sacrificing our own mental health in the process?
The practical takeaway here is really powerful. If you're looking for that feel good kick from your green habits, the science points towards simplifying your life, taking back control in ways that feel meaningful to you. Buying better products, yeah, that can give your self image a lift, but, and this is a big but, it's so important to be aware that activism, while absolutely vital for big picture change, can come with a real personal cost to your happiness and your relationships.
And let's be super clear here. The point is not don't be an activist. Not at all. Activism is essential. What this research really shines a light on is the deep, profound need for activists to build strong support systems, to find those communities that can protect them from the burnout and the conflict that so often come with trying to change the world.
So, in the end, it leaves us with this final thought. It's not really a choice between a healthy planet or a happy you. The real challenge, and maybe the most sustainable practice of all, is figuring out how to build a life that has room for both, how to balance what we do for the world with what we need to do to sustain ourselves.